Yo, if I'm lying, I'm dying. But that episode of Dragon Ball Super, episode 90, Goku and Tien versus Gohan and Piccolo. Oh my gosh, yes. So much win about this episode, and 90 to 95, okay, we do 90, we do the 90% of the reason why is because of Gohan. Gohan, boy, when we started off this episode, because I want to talk about it, this is one of my favorite episodes in a long time. When we start the episode, it already starts off with a nice vibe, and you see that there's some fruits of the labor of Gohan training with Piccolo. Now, let's talk about some of the criticisms real quick so we can get them out the way, because there's not much. There's two things that you can criticize about this episode, maybe three. We'll say three, just for all intents and purposes. Get them out the way, and then we talk about the amazingness that was this episode. One thing, Tien Shinhan. Holy shit, you were useless as hell in this episode. What were you doing? Like, bro, Tien did nothing. He did absolutely shit. In this one, I mean, he could have at least gone at it with Piccolo or something. Tien was useless. I was really disappointed in Tien. I'll just say that. The other three fighters, they were putting in work. Of course, Goku and Gohan, the Saiyans, were putting in work. Tien, you disappoint, young lad. Another thing to criticize, but it's already been par for the course with Dragon Ball Super. Look at Super Saiyan Rage Trunks and shit like that. Gohan's ascension in power based on training with Piccolo. Some light training. Well, I'm not going to say light because it looked like he got his ass busted. But training with Piccolo shouldn't get you that far. It should get you, decent amount. But like, just look at Dragon Ball Z as a prime example. You needed to kill yourself to get somewhere in Dragon Ball Z with the training. This one is like... I mean, I was glad that it kept more realism to this, where 90% of the fight between Gohan and Goku was in Super Saiyan form. Well, he was even regular to start off with, and then they, calmed down, then he went Super Saiyan, and then, of course, when he went Blue, and he went Kaioken times 10, that's when Gohan couldn't keep up. So, there was a certain level of realism there, so you could argue that, well, he tried his best, right? But yeah, it's still a little bit like, wow, he ascended quite a bit from just training with Piccolo. So, that's the other thing you could argue, and then throughout the episode, there were some frames that were really off-model, not that noticeable. A couple times, yeah, it was noticeable, but not a big deal. So those were the three criticisms. But let's talk about this episode. The beginning, they're done training. Piccolo's like, I'm done. And I ain't gonna lie, just the vibe when they came into that little pub or whatever where Goku and Roshi and them were at, like, a little restaurant and whatnot, and Gohan's just there. You just can see so much of a change of Gohan. This isn't that same disappointing piece of shit that we had in Resurrection F. This is not him. This is not the... I think I can go Super Saiyan lad. Like, that's not him no more. He came, you can see the confidence, of course, the muscle mass is all returned, and he just looked like a beast. And when he came in, Father, train me. I wish he would have said, Father, fight me. Like that. I wish Gohan would have come off a little bit more, not as an asshole, but towards that direction. A little bit more snarky or a little something along the lines of that, just so we can see how serious he was, because he was still pretty polite with his father throughout this whole episode. Now, maybe it was a different story in Z in the Japanese version, and I'm just misremembering, but I would like to see Gohan just be a little bit more mean. Just me personally, like, just, nah, I'm gonna kick your ass, father, or something like that. But nevertheless, we already see the development and change, and then the action when they were throwing down everybody. It was like, again, aside from Tien, that Tien was just like a waste there, and Gohan was savage as hell. And that's what I love, because at the end of the day, coming into this, you're fighting for your universe. You lose, it's all over. And he was treating this fight just as that. And that's what I respected the most of Gohan, is that he wasn't playing. He wasn't coming here. This isn't the little kid Gohan that couldn't make the blast to, take out Nappa or whatever. This isn't him anymore. He came in there. He had Tien like a rag doll. He was beating the shit out of him. Poor Tien. He had no chance. Like, at the very least, Tien, again, like, go against Piccolo. What are you doing? Just like getting ready for the tri-beam and then not doing nothing. Tien. And then even Piccolo charging up. Like, this felt like a Dragon Ball Z fight with some extra, like, teamwork and shit like that. But this felt like a true Dragon Ball Z fight. Obviously, this is Super. What I'm referring to is from what we've seen in the past. It just really felt like that. Obviously, not as serious. This wasn't the fate of the world in this fight, but this is prepping for the fate of the world and the universe at that. And when Goku and Gohan were throwing down throughout the episode, like, this was great action. Just hands down great. Seeing Gohan's return to prominence, just fucking amazing. Goku going in as well. And again, for the argument, which it's a little bit of a flawed argument of, well, how did Gohan ascend so far? He fought Goku 90% of the time in Goku's Super Saiyan form, which, okay, if he trained really, really hard, that's not that far off, because Gohan at the end of Z was really, really strong. So if he got to that power and even past it, you could argue, yeah, maybe in Super Saiyan form he could possibly, maybe, you know, whatever. So you could argue that, but just the blows, bro, like, hands down, one of my favorite episodes in a long time of Dragon Ball Super. Since the end of the preliminaries, these episodes have been hit and miss. Some of them have just been like, what am I watching? Some of them have been really cool. Some of them have a cool moment here or there. This episode, almost from top to bottom, was just really good. And it was really good that I felt as though it was a nod from Toei saying, yo, we know we've been playing with you guys for like 90 episodes now, so here's a little taste of Gohan. Here's a little taste of what we've done to him, and I love it. I love it. Now, let's get to the bit where Gohan, the fight is over, and Gohan's like, nah, I want to fight one-on-one, me and you right now. That is exactly everything. Call it fan service if you want, but that's what the fans wanted, and I think that's what Gohan's character has needed for a long time, especially in Dragon Ball Super, to really get to that point of him not playing. And it's also a callback as well to, if you remember, I think it was Piccolo or it was Gohan. Somebody said anyway, Goku's never going to be a trainer like Piccolo was, because that's his, that's his son. Gohan's his son. He's never going to train Gohan the way somebody else like Piccolo could, because he cares too much. He's going to go soft on him. And it was a throwback to that when Gohan's like, yo, you're not fighting me serious, Dad. Give me your all. I was like, that is such a great callback. And that still shows that there's some things that Goku won't change. Like, he doesn't really want to hurt his son. He knows that if he goes full power, he could kill this motherfucker. So that was a nice little throwback right there. And then when the fucking fight went to, because if you remember, I think if you watch my spoiler video, I mentioned that I want to see Gohan go down to Goku with Goku's max potential, and that's exactly what they did. And I'm very, very happy, because it shows it took Goku using all of his power, not a little taste, not just Super Saiyan Blue. He went straight up Kaioken times 10, and then went at Gohan. But the best part of the episode, hands down, Gohan, out of, conscious, he's knocked unconscious, and he still went for a swing at Goku. That is the savagery, that is the epicness, that is the awesomeness, that is everything that we need for this universe survival arc, and that what we needed for Gohan for 90 episodes, and it all finally came in, and I am very, very happy to say this was a great episode of Dragon Ball Super. Great. A couple other things to mention in the episode, because I want to cover all bases. We did get to see the Universe 10 warriors, or at the very least one of them, and a bunch of them cloaked, and it looks like Ramush, I believe, the God of Destruction from Universe 10, ain't playing. It was a nice little throwback as well, the fact that Gowas brought up again, he's not trying to get anybody like Zama's, and seeing kind of Gowas' weaknesses, and also the fact that I think Zama's mistakes, or Gowas' mistakes regarding, picking Zama's, made Ramush kind of lose trust in him and said, nah, you're thinking with your head, you gotta think with your heart, and pick warriors in a different way. So that was kind of interesting to see. I wasn't too hype about the warrior that we did get, like, the first one kind of looked like a buff Krillin with a nose. I was like, okay, tall Krillin with a nose, why not? But hopefully some of the other cloak dudes are going to be really cool, and Universe 10 can redeem themselves after the horrible catastrophe that was brought forth from their universe with Zamasu and eventually Goku Black. I gotta give it no less than the 9 out of 10. No less than the 9 out of 10 for this episode because of Gohan's development. Again, the only legit argument I would say that there's really nothing you could say for it is that Tien was just worthless. He just got bodied around there. Gohan beat the shit out of him. He didn't do nothing to Piccolo. Like, he was worthless. So really, Tien is the only argument I'd have. And, a couple of character models off here and there, which is why it's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's damn good. 9 out of 10 for this episode. I can't believe it. Toei really did. Now, I know probably some people are disappointed, including myself to a certain degree. We did want to see maybe a new form for Gohan, maybe Super Saiyan Blue or Mystic Blue, something like that. Maybe have like blue static around him with like maybe blue streaks in his hair or some shit like that. So we didn't get that, but it seems as though at the very least the Gohan we once knew and loved at the end of Dragon Ball Z is finally back, and I can do nothing but praise that shit. It's like, let's fucking go. Great episode. I'm really curious what you guys think. For starters, Tien, how do you feel about what he did in this episode? Are you going to throw the argument in there that well, Gohan, he showed that he's grown, and that's why that happened to him, because Gohan was just beating the shit out of him, and Tien is way too weak to come at him. But then again, why not get at Piccolo? You know what I'm saying? Piccolo's a lot weaker than Gohan. What is your thoughts on Tien? Are you disappointed in him, disgusted in him? What do you think about Gohan as a whole in this episode? Seeing him going up against his father, giving it his all, and then even that ending scene. Do you feel as though this is exactly what we wanted, and we've been screaming, the fandom been crying out for a couple of years now? We wanted this, Gohan, this is it? Or you left still disappointed? What do you think about that? And your overall thoughts of the episode? I mean, this was a great one. A fucking great one, and I can do nothing but throw a praise. Like, Gohan is back! Yes! But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.